In the murky waters of Florida's Everglades, two apex predators wage a biological war that's reshaping America's most iconic ecosystem. One, a 15-foot armored dinosaur relic with one of the strongest bite forces among living animals. The other, an 18-foot invasive strangler that can swallow a deer whole and has established massive breeding populations out of control. American alligator versus Burmese python. This isn't just a hypothetical showdown. It's happening right now, with documented battles and shocking ecological consequences. I'm Patrick from Speculative Science, and today we're dissecting the ultimate invasion clash. Stick around because we're diving deep into some mind-blowing science that will change how you see Florida's wildlife crisis. First, we'll reveal how pythons went from a handful of escaped pets to potentially hundreds of thousands of breeding monsters in just 30 years. Then, we'll analyze the incredible biology behind an alligator's bone-crushing death roll versus a python's circulation-stopping coil technique using real lab data and pressure measurements. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. We'll examine actual documented encounters, including that infamous 2005 case where biologists found a dead python with a 6-foot alligator lodged in its ruptured stomach. Plus, we'll run 4 realistic battle scenarios to determine who really rules the swamp. But here's the debate that's dividing scientists. Is overwhelming crushing power better than inescapable constriction technique? If you're already picking sides, drop Team Gator or Team Python in the comments. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this invasion could determine the future of American apex predators. Origins and ecological invasion story. Let's start with the tale of two evolutionary masterpieces that should never have met. The American alligator represents 80 million years of perfection. A living dinosaur that survived mass extinctions, ice ages, and even human hunting to reclaim its throne across southeastern wetlands. But the Burmese python? It's an evolutionary refugee from Southeast Asian forests brought to Florida by the pet trade throughout the 1980s and 90s. Hurricane Andrew in 1992 likely contributed by damaging breeding facilities, but releases and escapes happened over decades as pets outgrew their terrariums. Here's the terrifying math that's shocking biologists. Starting from relatively few escaped pythons in the late 90s, scientists now estimate anywhere from tens of thousands up to potentially hundreds of thousands breeding freely in South Florida. The exact number is uncertain, but clearly massive and growing exponentially. The ecological damage is absolutely staggering. Pythons have reduced mammal populations by up to 99% in some areas. Raccoons, opossums, deer, even bobcats are vanishing from regions where they thrived for millennia. They're not just competing with alligators, they're systematically destroying the food web that sustains the entire Everglades ecosystem. Now here's where it gets personal between these titans. Recent studies found python stomach contents with alligator osteoderms, those bony armor plates, and trail cameras have captured footage of alligators devouring 12-foot pythons. This isn't coexistence, it's biological warfare, with both species actively hunting each other in a deadly evolutionary arms race. Biological weapons comparison. Let's break down their biological arsenals using real measurements and documented capabilities. This is where the science gets absolutely incredible. American alligator, the armored crusher. Males reach 15 feet and 1,000 pounds of concentrated power. Lab studies show large alligator bite forces reaching into the low to mid thousands of pounds of force, making them among the strongest recorded bite forces of any living animal. They're equipped with 80 regenerating teeth, osteodermal armor that deflects most attacks, and a violent rolling maneuver called the death roll. High-speed studies show rapid, devastating rotation at multiple rotations per second that can dismember prey instantly. Burmese python, the silent strangler, the Florida record holder. 18 feet, 215 pounds of pure muscle. They kill via constriction that stops blood circulation and breathing. Lab studies show constriction pressures that scale with snake size and can quickly incapacitate prey by cutting off blood flow rather than simple crushing. Heat-sensing pits let them hunt in total darkness, and those unhinged jaws can swallow prey twice their head diameter. Here's the crucial difference and the heart of our analysis. Alligators deliver instant trauma through overwhelming crushing force, while pythons apply sustained, inescapable pressure that stops circulation and breathing. It's explosive power versus relentless, suffocating technique, but which strategy actually dominates in real combat? The 4 battle scenarios. 4 scenarios based on documented encounters and biological capabilities. Pure science, zero sensationalism, maximum reality. Round 1, shallow water ambush. When a 12-foot alligator encounters an 18-foot python python at the water's edge, the gator's explosive aquatic launch gives it devastating first strike advantage. That crushing bite to the python's mid-body, followed by the death roll, typically ends the encounter before the snake can establish coils. Field data suggests alligators dominate the vast majority of water encounters. Their home field advantage is nearly insurmountable. Round 2. Dense vegetation surprise. In thick sawgrass where pythons excel at camouflage, a large snake can ambush smaller gators with devastating effectiveness. Real documented cases show pythons successfully constricting 6 to 8 foot alligators by wrapping the neck and torso simultaneously, preventing the death roll. When pythons get that crucial first coil advantage, they can neutralize even armored prey. Round 3. Open territory face-off. On solid ground with room to maneuver, the alligator's burst speed and tail-powered pivoting give it significant mobility advantages. The python's length provides reach, but exposed positioning makes it vulnerable to those crushing jaws. This scenario often comes down to who lands the first critical strike, and that's where it gets really unpredictable. Round 4. Size class reality check. Here's the key insight from Florida field data that changes everything. Encounters are absolutely size dependent. Pythons successfully prey on juvenile and subadult alligators up to about 8 feet, but adult male gators over 12 feet, that's where the real debate begins among herpetologists. The armor becomes incredibly thick, the bite force reaches maximum potential, but could a truly massive 20-foot python theoretically handle even a monster bull gator? The science suggests it's possible, but extremely rare. The ecological reality. So here's our scientific scorecard. Alligators seem to dominate most direct encounters, especially in water. Their instant lethality, armor, and aquatic dominance give them tactical edges in traditional predator versus predator combat. But here's the ecological plot twist that's absolutely mind-blowing. Pythons aren't playing by traditional predator rules. They're winning the war through asymmetrical warfare, avoiding adult alligators while systematically eliminating juveniles' eggs and competing prey species. It's evolutionary strategy versus brute force combat, the terrifying truth that's keeping ecologists up at night. Even if alligators win 70% of direct fights, python population, growth, and ecological impact might be irreversibly altering the Everglades. We're witnessing a biological invasion that could redefine what it means to be an apex predator in North America. The individual battles favor the gator, but the python might be winning the war through sheer numbers and reproductive strategy. This showdown reveals more than just predator abilities. It's a crystal clear warning about invasive species and ecosystem collapse. Florida's python removal programs eliminate thousands annually, but with breeding populations potentially in the hundreds of thousands, human intervention is literally the only thing preventing total ecological catastrophe. The American alligator survived the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, ice ages, and near extinction from hunting. But can it survive the python invasion? That depends on us understanding the science, supporting aggressive removal efforts, and never ever releasing non-native species into the wild. If this biological warfare analysis blew your mind, smash that subscribe button for more speculative science breakdowns that reveal the incredible battles happening in nature right now. Comment below. Which predator do you think will dominate Florida's future ecosystem? And remember, when we understand evolution and ecology through real science, we become better stewards of the incredible natural world around us. The battle for the Everglades continues, and rigorous scientific understanding is our best weapon for protecting these amazing ecosystems.